Hello, everyone. Welcome again to Diego Knows. I am Diego, and today we are going to talk about Masters of the Universe Revelation, that Netflix series that came out today. Now, a lot of you are probably thinking, okay, you didn't know that Masters of the Universe Revelation Part 2 came out today. You probably didn't know that. And the reason you didn't know that was because Part 1, the 5 episodes for Masters Universe Part 1, came out in July. And that was heavily promoted by Kevin Smith, by Netflix. I mean, you couldn't go on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube without seeing the trailer. I mean, it was a big deal. You know, everyone was excited. It had been about 20 years since we'd had He-Man and the Masters of the Universe on TV again in animated form. So it'd been a long time. And those of us that grew up watching the original show in the early 80s, you know, we're all like in middle age now. We're older now, you know. So the show was marketed towards us. Okay. They wanted us to see it. It wasn't for little kids. They made a little kids version one, which came out later, which I hear is very good, actually. But this one was for the kids that watched the original one in the early 80s. So they came out with part one in July. Kevin Smith produced it. You know, Kevin Smith is a professional geek, you know, and he promoted it heavily. Hey, you know, Master Universe, you know, I'm so excited about it, blah, blah. And then it dropped. It dropped in July, and all of us watched it, and it was a piece of shit. It was an absolute piece of shit. He-Man wasn't in it. He showed up in the very beginning, and we never saw him again for those first 5 episodes. We thought that the show was going to be about He-Man because the original cartoon was about He-Man. He was the main character. It was about him and his fight with Skeletor, the main bad guy. And instead, what we got a story about Teela, who was the not the love interest because it was a kids show, but she was like the beautiful woman that helped, the tough, beautiful woman that helped He-Man on his missions. You know, she was his ally. She was his brother in arms, you could say, for fighting. You know, and her dad was captain of the Royal Guard. He was the official man at arms, you know, whatever. And so it ended up her being the main character, and He-Man wasn't in it. Now, you don't do a cartoon called He-Man and the Master Universe and take He-Man out of it. Okay, you do that, you're going to piss off the fans. All right, and that's what Kevin Smith did, and he lied about it. He completely lied. He said this was about He-Man. He loved He-Man. After the show dropped, we started doing our research on Kevin Smith's relationship with He-Man. Now, he's got the geek cred, okay? He wrote comic books. I read his Green Lantern. I mean, not his Green Arrow comic books. I read his Daredevil comic books. I've seen all of his movies and all about it. He was one of us. You know, he's like around our age. You know, he started making independent movies, and he read a lot of comic books, watched a lot of. He watched all the same shows that I did. He watched all the movies that I did. He references all that crap in his stuff that he does. You know, he's just like a fat guy who smokes a lot of weed. You know, and he's a slacker, but you know he grew up with pop culture basically. Okay, he grew up reading comic books and watching Fat Albert, and stuff like that. The same stuff that I watched. So whenever he would make something, I would be attracted to it. I would watch whatever he created. And when I heard he was creating He-Man, the Master Universe, I was really excited. Because, oh, this is a geek. I mean, he watched the show. I watched the show, so he must have watched the show. And the truth is, he didn't watch the show. He never watched the show. He's basically, you know how like in like murder trials and stuff, they always hire professional witnesses. Like the prosecution or the defense team will hire a professional witness, and their job basically is they're an expert in their field, and they get paid to go up on the stand and testify for the prosecution or the defense. That's what they do. When you need an expert for something, there's these guys, you look them up. There's these guys, that's all they do for a living, is they go on the stand. They get paid to go on the stand because they're experts. Well, Kevin Smith has for like the past 20 years been the unofficial expert on geek culture in Hollywood. And so a lot of movie companies, like Disney, or Warner Brothers or stuff, he's the litmus test to see if the geeks are going to like what they're doing. So they don't survey a bunch of us nerds and ask us what we want to see. What they do is they say, okay, we're going to come up with this idea, and then we're going to run it by Kevin Smith. Does Kevin Smith like it? He does? Okay, that means that all the nerds out there are going to like it. They're going to spend their money on it. Boom, that's how it works. Okay, that's his unofficial title. Now that things are coming more to light, now this whole woke culture that we've got going on in Hollywood right now has exposed a lot of people, and it's not so much as they're passionate about what they're doing; they're just trying to push an agenda. They're trying to promote a message, and everyone in Hollywood, all the big players, all the famous people, are doing the same thing. They're all on the same page. They're all liberals. They're all voting Democratic, and they're all trying to push this agenda, this CRT agenda. And look it up. It's called ESG. Environmental Social Program. So they're trying to push this agenda, and if you do not go along with this agenda, you get kicked out. You get blacklisted. Basically, it's like the 50s all over again. It's like the Red Scare, all over again. And so people that are conservative in Hollywood, they're going to keep their mouth shut, because if they talk about it, they're going to end up like Gina Carano, just canceled, or like James Wood, canceled. If you vote for Trump, you can get, if you voted for Trump, if they find out that you voted for Trump in Hollywood, okay, not only are you going to get canceled, like your house is going to get bombed, your kids are going to get kidnapped, and the media's going to love it. They're going to celebrate it because you're a bad person. But anyway, so that's kind of going on right now, and Kevin Smith is a part of that because he wants to work. His movies have not done very well at all, so he's got to remake his old movies now. He did Jay and Silent Bob reboot, whatever, like 2 years ago, which is okay, wasn't that great. And now he's going to redo Clerks. He's going to do Clerks 3 now, some 20 years later, or 16 years later, So he's going back to the well, and the only way he's going to get, money to do these projects, the only way he's going to stay relevant is if he goes along with the Hollywood rules. And right now, the Hollywood rules are you have to be a social justice warrior. You have to be believe women, gay rights, all these things that are just common sense for the normal person. But for the liberal in Hollywood, it's something that they got to beat you down with it. They have to show diversity. They have to do all these things. Okay, and Kevin Smith is with that agenda. He's completely on that page. And so we thought we were going to get He-Man, who was a nice guy, a hero, like a Superman type guy with super strength, secret identity, and he helps people. He uses his power to help people. He defends his planet from Skeletor, who's always trying to take it over. And that's what we thought we were getting, but that's not what we got. What we got was we got a demasculated He-Man. We got She-Man. Teela was the main character. Teela ends up being all powerful. Even though she's got no powers, she's got all the power. Okay? She has the supreme power on the show, and that is her vagina. Because she's got a vagina and all the other characters don't, therefore she's more powerful than them. You see? That's how it works. So she doesn't need any superpowers. She's got the V. And same thing with the bad guy on the show is supposed to be Skeletor. He's He-Man's arch nemesis. That's the villain from the cartoon. He gets killed off in the first episode as well, and gets replaced with Evil Lyn, who's his sidekick. That's his damsel that's on his side. And there's like sort of an arc where she might turn good, but then she goes back to being evil again. I mean, come on, her name's Evil Lyn, for Christ's sake. Okay, what do you think she is going to be? And so basically, the story's about her and Teela, and they're the main characters. The reason I'm making this video right now is because part 2 just dropped today. You didn't hear about it because they didn't promote it. They didn't spend any money. They dropped a trailer like 3 weeks ago, and that was it. Everyone forgot about it. I didn't even know about it. Like someone told me about it. That's how I remember. Oh yeah, that did drop today. Yeah. Like Tiger King dropped today. Did you know that? Yeah, everyone knew that. Nobody knew that the part 2 of He-Man dropped today. So I watched it. I got Netflix. I watched it. I watched the first 5. I hated it. I've seen all the YouTube videos on it. Everybody hated it. Kevin Smith tried to defend it, and the more he tried to defend it, the more the fans kept blasting it on social media. So finally, he just shut up because he was just pissing off people. You don't piss off your audience. You do not piss off your audience. Okay, if you want to make something for people and you generally want to tell a really good story and you want to entertain people, then you've got to admit when you miss the mark. You have to. Now, Kevin Smith's made some shitty movies. He's made some great movies, but he's made some shitty ones too, okay? Some really bad ones. All right, like what was that one, Tusk? Oh my God, I can't believe I sat through that. That was horrible. You know, and I'm a big Kevin Smith fan. I love most of his movies, you know, but I mean, Chasing Amy is one of my favorite movies of all time, you know. But I mean, God, something like Tusk, that was just horrible, you know. And he apologized for it. He's like, okay, yeah, you know, I made a movie and you know nobody liked it, but you know, hey, I can deal with rejection. I'm okay. I got thick skin. Literally, I'm fat. I got thick skin, you know. Um, and so instead of him taking that approach with the criticism he got for this, he just doubled down. He just started blaming the fans. He just started blaming all of us for not liking the show. He was telling there was something wrong with us. You know, the biggest complaint was you killed off He-Man in the first episode. How could you do that? He's like, oh, well, He-Man sacrificed himself for the greater good. Did anybody complain when Tony Stark killed himself in Avengers Endgame? Did anybody complain about that? No. He-Man did the same thing. So what are you bitching about? You know, well, the difference is that we didn't get to know this He-Man yet. Okay, this is our introduction to you, He-Man. You killed him off right away. We knew Iron Man for like, what, 15 movies? 12 movies? Okay, we already knew him. We already loved him. He already earned his place in our hearts. So for him to die was emotional for us because we already knew the guy. We knew what he was capable of. We knew the type of person he was in the beginning and the kind of person he was now at the very end. And he changed. He became a better person. He had become what he had set out to do. And he gave his life for an unselfish purpose, which is complete opposite for who he was at the very beginning. He had a story arc throughout all the movies. You know, he didn't just be one character played at one note. He changed. Tony Stark's character changed, you know, throughout the course of the MCU. So for when he finally does die, it means something to us. It's like, okay, we've been with this guy at his best. We've been with him at his lowest. We know him. We know how he reacts with other people. We know how he feels about people. We know what's important to him. We know what he's afraid of. You know, like the thing with his dad. Like he never resolved that. He never resolved those feelings he had with his father. You know, until Avengers Endgame, where he finally has that speech with his dad. I mean, I was moved emotionally for that. So the point is that we knew this character before he died. We got to know him, so it hurt us more when he passed away. This new He-Man, we didn't get to know him. We saw him for a few minutes and he died. That was it. When he finally shows up again at the very end, he's Prince Adam now. He's not He-Man, he's Prince Adam. He's in heaven with all the other He-Men, because there's more than one. And all of them are super strong. They all have their muscular, you know, heroic bodies, except for He-Man. He-Man decided to be, when he's in heaven, he's going to stay Prince Adam. He chose that. He chose to stay looking in his weak form as opposed to his strong form, which says a lot about his character. It says a lot about his character. It's telling me that he's that He-Man sees himself as a coward, as a weak person, a nice guy, but definitely in the friend zone, definitely limp, definitely a beta male. He-Man sees himself as a beta male, and he's comfortable with that, and that's not He-Man. Teela, on the other hand, is alpha, and she's a strong, doesn't need a man, super confident. I think she's actually a lesbian, because she goes from being feminine in the first episode, the rest of the show she's masculine, short hair, you know, she's wearing armor, bigger muscles now, no cleavage at all, no breasts at all, you know, trash talking, you know, just very masculine traits, you know, which I know that they're trying to push that agenda, but it's very unattractive. Okay, it's not attractive for a woman to act like a man. For a man, you know, if I'm attracted, I'm a man. All right, I act like a man. All right, so I'm not attracted to women that act like me. Okay, I'm attracted to women that act different from me. They act like women. See, I'm masculine, so I'm attracted to the feminine. You see, I'm not attracted to the masculine. Okay, so I would not be attracted to a woman that acts like a man. Okay, I wouldn't. That wouldn't attract me. You see, being feminine does not mean being weak. Okay, you can be strong and still be feminine. I don't know who decided that. You know, only that being strong is a masculine trait. It's not a masculine trait. Okay, it's a human trait. You can be feminine and be strong. You can be masculine and be strong. These shows don't do that though. You know. So He-Man's demasculated. He's weak. He's weak. Skeletor's weak. All the men are weak. They're there to help out, as long as their feelings don't get hurt. And the rest of the time, the women are just being told how great they are. Teela spends the entire series being told how wonderful she is, how great she is. And her only weakness is that she doesn't realize how great she is. So that's part one. Part two takes off from there again. Adam's back to life. Skeletor is now Skelegod. He took all the power. Evelyn, he turns Evelyn into the sorceress of Grayskull. Which, if you know your lore, the sorceress actually controls the power of Grayskull. She's like the custodian of the power of Grayskull, which means that at any moment she can take away Skeletor's He-Man powers. He gave that to her. Now, why on earth would a man like Skeletor, who's evil and mistreats her, abuses her, takes her for granted, ignores her, treats her like crap, why would he give her the power to destroy him? He's supposed to be like this arch criminal, you know? He's supposed to be this, world conquering, smartass. He's smarter than everyone. He's supposed to be. He always says he is. He's the smartest man in the room, He's too clever to be defeated, His brains will defeat He-Man's brawn any day of the week, right? But yet he does something stupid like give this girl that he mistreats all the power to take away his power. Just gives it. She didn't earn it. She didn't trick him out of it. He gave it to her willingly. He does that. And then later on, she tricks him into giving up his He-Man powers to her, and she takes his He-Man powers. Okay, now, I know this is a cliche, and it's a trope. If you've watched, for you women that are watching this video, if you've watched Law and Order, or CSI, or any fucking procedural cop drama on TV, it's always the same shit. Okay, it's always the same thing. There's always some guy who's horny, and he meets some really hot, attractive girl, and she takes him back to her hotel room or her bedroom, whatever. And then she says, "Hey, sugar, I'm gonna tie you up." And he's like, "Oh yeah, baby, you do that. That turns me on, And then, she takes off her stockings and she ties him up to the bed and blindfolds him, gags him, whatever, And she's like, "Don't worry, baby. It's gonna feel." He's like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Do it, baby." And then of course she pulls out the fucking the ice pick and starts stabbing him, and she robs him, right? That's what happens all the time. Okay. Well, that basically happens here. Again, Evelyn basically does that to Skeletor. "Hey, baby, take away your power source so we can have sex." He's like, "Okay, yeah, I'm gonna give up my power because that's so sexy for me." And then of course she grabs the sword and threatens him with it, steals all of his power. Okay, I didn't see that coming. Okay, now for all you script writers out there, let me be honest with you. Okay, just as a man, just one guy's opinion. Okay, but you never see this. No one ever talks about this, so I'm just gonna tell you flat out. Okay, only a stupid fucking idiot would ever put himself in a position to be murdered or robbed on purpose, especially with a stranger, especially with a woman you just met. Okay, no normal human being is going to do that. No normal guy is going to do that. Okay, you see it on TV shows, you see it in movies all the time. I think Fatal Instinct or whatever, Fatal Attraction, whatever. You see that shit all the time. It's like the biggest turn on a man has is for a woman to take control of him. Okay, that is not a fucking turn on. Most guys do not have that fantasy. They don't. Okay, the whole thing about a man being tied up, and then whipped by some, that's all bullshit. Okay, there's a few guys out there that like that. There is. Okay, but the other 99.999999999% of men don't like that. In fact, it's a male fantasy for them to be in charge, for them to be in control. You see, but you can't show that on TV because that's like rape or something. It's a rape fantasy. Ugh, toxic masculinity. See, it's okay for a woman to be aggressive in the bedroom. It is not okay for a man to be aggressive in the bedroom. All right. I know that's not neither here nor there, but the only reason I bring that up is because Hollywood keeps pushing these tropes all the time, these cliches in movies all the time, and they don't seem to realize that it's not realistic. Okay, a guy who's got the power that Skeletor has, a guy who's made it to that level, would never allow himself to be in a situation where that could happen to him. And here he's done it twice now. He gave Evelyn the ability to take away his powers, and then he literally gave her the ability to take away his powers. And she does. Because he's a freaking idiot. That's not something a megalomaniac would do. Not just because he's horny. That would never happen. But it happens here. Go figure. Later on, when He-Man gets the sword, when Adam gets the sword, he becomes He-Man. You know, the first thing he does is he turns Skeletor back into his He-Man form, his Skelegod form. And even Skeletor's like, what the hell? Why'd you give me all this power back? He's like, because I want you to see what it's like to save people. Okay, so this is your worst enemy. This is the guy you've been fighting for 40 years now. And he's evil through and through. He murders people like it's nothing. He murdered Mossman right in front of you. Okay? And you're going to give him the same powers that you have to show him the virtues of being a good person, of helping people instead of hurting people. You've known this guy for 40-something years, okay? He's not a good person. Skeletor is not a good person. He's never going to be a good person, okay? So why would you give him a superhuman form? Why would you do that? Okay, this guy lies, he manipulates, he's a murderer, and you're going to give him power? You're supposed to be the good guy. You're going to give him power because you think that maybe deep down inside he's a good person, okay? And maybe if he sees you being a good person, then he'll want to be a good person too, right? No, wrong. That's not how real life works, okay? If I was a cop and I was chasing a serial killer, okay, and we're fighting, and I'm winning, and all of a sudden a group of thugs comes towards us, okay, am I going to give him a gun and say, okay, let's go save these people from the thugs? No, he's going to grab that gun as soon as I turn around. He's going to shoot me with it, and he's going to get away, okay? So it makes no sense that He-Man would give Skeletor all his power. That's not something He-Man would do. That's something a stupid person would do. That's something a guy who doesn't know how to fucking write a story would do. You see? So that's in there. That bothered me a lot. Teela becomes the new sorceress. She fights the evil Lyn, who's like evil god now. She's a man now, okay? I mean, Teela was already a man, okay? And now evil Lyn's a man too, you know? And they're fighting. She's got He-Man powers too. Who gives a shit? She's all powerful. She's the bad guy, not Skeletor. It's evil Lyn. Evil Lyn's the bad guy. Because she had an abusive childhood, you know? And they Harley Quinned her. Okay, and what I mean by that is like Harley Quinn, when Harley Quinn first appeared in the Batman animated cartoon, she was the Joker's henchman. And lover, but henchman, you know? And he mistreated her. He treated her like crap because, I mean, it's the Joker. Come on, he's not a nice guy. He's a psychopath. Of course he's going to treat his girlfriend like shit. Of course he is, you know? But she always went back to him, okay? Harley Quinn became so popular that they decided to be like, okay, let's break Harley Quinn away from the Joker and let's just give her her own title. Let's just make her own thing where she's not dependent on the Joker anymore because she's already got her own popularity. She's already got her own fan base. She doesn't need the Joker to pump up her popularity. She's already popular. She's basically a female Joker. I mean, there's nothing interesting about that. But she's very popular, especially with the girls, you know. And so that's what they did. And the narrative that they used was that Harley Quinn... See, they can't really make a comic book about a serial killer, you know, who kills people, innocent people like Harley Quinn does, because, you know, people, they'll think it's cool for a while, and they're going to go, wait a minute, she's killing, like, little kids and stuff. Like, I don't want to read this comic book anymore. I don't want to, you know, that's not someone I want to look up to. That's not someone I want to be like, you know? So they couldn't do that. So what they do is what they always do in comic books, is they change the character. They retcon them. Okay, like they did with Venom. Venom was a bad guy. When he became popular, they made him like a quasi-good guy, an anti-hero. That's what they call an anti-hero. And that's what they did to Harley Quinn. So it turns out that all those innocent people that she killed, all those innocent, you know, guards, kids, you know, just normal people that she murdered while helping the Joker, she does not have to answer for that. She does not have to face justice for that because it wasn't her fault. You see, all the bad things that she did was because of her abusive relationship that she had with her boyfriend. It was her boyfriend's fault. It was the Joker's fault. The Joker manipulated her. He used her. He abused her. And therefore, she is not responsible for any of the things that she did. It's the Joker's responsible, not her. She's not responsible. She didn't do anything wrong. Okay? The only thing she did wrong was trust this psychopath. Was be in love with the psychopath. That was the only thing she did wrong. Okay? That's the narrative they pushed with Harley Quinn, and that's the narrative they're pushing here with Evil Lyn. She didn't do anything wrong. It was her boyfriend Skeletor. He's the one that turned her evil. He's the one that manipulated her. He's the one that, you know, treated her like dirt, abused her. And therefore, all the evil things that she did, it wasn't her fault. It was her boyfriend. Her boyfriend made her do it. Her boyfriend manipulated her brainwashed her into doing those things. It wasn't her fault. She didn't have to answer for that. You know, it's like with me. You know, like my girlfriend. You know, if we're dating and my girlfriend likes to hit people with her car, and she kind of turns me on to it. Oh, hey, you know, it's fun, Rod. All you gotta do is when you see them walking, just hit them. You know, and then I do that, and then I get in trouble. They're not gonna arrest me for that. They're gonna arrest her for it. Okay? She's the one that talked me into it. Dude, I was in love with her. Of course I'm gonna do what she says. It's not my fault. Don't arrest me. I know I hit that person, but damn it, it wasn't my fault. She talked me into it. If I hadn't met her, I never would have done it. So don't arrest me, arrest her. And you think that's gonna work? Really, do you think it's gonna work? No, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. Okay, well, on this cartoon it works. Okay, just like in the Batman comic book, it works for Harley Quinn. It works, you know. So that kind of happens. You know, she gets defeated, and then she's just like, "Hey, you get a free pass. No problem. It wasn't your fault. You're abused. You were used. You know, you're a good person inside. I know you killed all these people, but it doesn't matter. It's okay. It wasn't your fault. It was your boyfriend. He's the one that manipulated you into doing it. It wasn't your fault." And so she got a pass. You know, and I'm like, okay, what kind of message are you trying to tell this to people? You know, and it's not kids because this show wasn't made for kids. There's too many adult themes going on here. Too much violence, too much sex jokes. There's even a scene where Evelyn says, "Hey, my dick's bigger than yours." You know, she says that my dick's bigger than yours. Okay. So yeah. So there's no audience here. The whole purpose of this show, this Masters of the Universe, okay, is to sell merchandise. Okay, Hasbro owns the rights to Masters of the Universe, to He-Man. Okay, and the reason they made this cartoon is to sell toys, just like they did in the 80s. So they sold a shitload of toys because that cartoon was so successful. That's what they're trying to do here, okay? And I am their target audience, not little kids. There's already a separate He-Man show for the little kids, which like I said, I heard it's really good, but I didn't watch it. I only watched this one because I was a fan of the old one. I watched the one when I was a little kid. I watched the old one, you know? So I am the target audience. Okay, this cartoon was made for people in their 40s, the people that watch the show when they're little kids, trying to introduce their own children to it, you know, like I am. And you know, so I am the person that they made this show for, because I was a fan. I am a fan. Okay, and I am, you know, men like me, people in our middle-aged people, you know, we have disposable money. So if you make like a classic, like a He-Man doll or something, not a doll, but like an action figure, you know, like a classic one, like a real precise one, you know, with a lot of texture in it and a lot of detailed, you know, made by a professional company, you know, and you're going to charge me, you know, $75 for it or $200 for it. I'm the guy who's going to buy it. Okay, you see that right there? You see that? You see that transformer back there? Okay, you know how much money that cost? It's a fucking transformer. Okay? It's a transformer. And I bought it. I bought it because I used to watch Transformers when I was a kid and I love that show. And now I'm an adult. Okay? So if they want to charge me $250 for a fucking transformer that reminds me of my childhood, I'm the kind of guy who's going to spend that money and buy it. You see? So I am the target audience. Okay? Little kids don't have fucking $60. They don't have $100. They don't have $200 to spend on toys. Okay? It's the grown men that do. Men like me. Okay, we will spend $300 for a fucking Vehicle Force Voltron. Okay, we will do that. Okay, we will spend $300 on a fucking, you know, on a Robotech Cyclone, Scott Bernard version. Okay, we will do that. All right, I'm your target audience. Okay, the toys you're making from this show are for me. You're making them for me because I'm the guy that will spend my money on useless shit like that because that's the kind of person that I am. I'm a fan. I'm a diehard fan. And the show fucking sucks. And you completely missed the mark. Completely. Instead of making a show that I wanted to see, that was exciting, with no politics in it at all. Instead, you made a fucking show that showed every man on the show was an idiot, evil, or a coward, or a combination of those three. Every single male character on that show was a combination of those three. Meanwhile, all the women were beautiful, strong, tough, smart, independent. Okay? You made all the women great. You made all the men like shit. And you did that to push a narrative. Okay, and what really pisses me off is at the end of these episodes, they did a little Q&A, like a making of little documentary afterwards, where Kevin Smith is there and he's interviewing all the actors and stuff. And at one point in this documentary, the actress that played the black girl in there, see, I don't even remember her name. That's how little impact she had to the story. Um, but she held up this Evil Lynn toy, and I think she was talking to Lena Headey, the actress that played Evil Lynn. They were doing like a FaceTime, whatever, and she held up this Evil Lynn doll. Okay, and this is like $100 Evil Lynn doll. Okay, it's a replica of the cartoon version that we just saw. She's like, "Look, you're an action figure now," you know. And the reason they did that was because it was a way of doing a commercial for the toys. Like I said, it's a toy company that made this. They're trying to sell toys. And she, look at this, look how excited they got the Evil Lynn doll, you know. And I'm like thinking to myself, you know what? No one's gonna fucking buy that. No one is gonna buy that fucking doll. Okay, because guys like me, we don't spend $200 on a fucking doll if we think the show is dog shit. Okay, if we thought the Transformers was a piece of fucking shit, we would not spend money on it. Okay, if the Transformers was trying to talk down to us and tell us that we're all assholes because we're straight white men, and tell us that we're all pieces of shit because we were born with a penis, that automatically makes us a piece of shit, and that we owe something to all of humanity because of that. You know, when you tell us that we're born racists, you know, and there's nothing we can do about it except try to be not as racist, even though we'll never not be racist because we're born white or whatever. I'm not even white, but I'm saying this is what I'm talking about. You see, when you're gonna talk to me that way, I'm not gonna fucking spend my money on you. I'm not gonna spend fucking my money on you. You see? I'm not gonna buy your fucking toys because your TV show told me that men are all pieces of shit. That's what your TV show told me. That we're irrelevant and we're not necessary at all. Look around you. Every fucking thing you see out there was built by a fucking man. A man. Everything from your fucking cell phone to your TV to your fucking car you drive to the house you fucking live in and to the people that take out your fucking trash. Everything was built by men. Does that mean men are better? Fuck no, it doesn't. But god damn it, we are important and we fucking matter. And you keep talking down to us like we're nothing. Like our opinion doesn't matter. You keep doing that, you're gonna get shit like this. And you're gonna lose money. You're gonna lose fucking money. I don't know what the hell, how much longer this is gonna go on, but I'm telling you, it can't last much longer. Because people are rising up. We're talking about it now. We're talking about it now. The media likes to say things like, oh, the fans are divided. There is no fucking division amongst fans. Fans never get divided. Okay, this is a culture war. This is the media telling us you need to be this, and these are the people telling us, no, we want to be free. We want to be who we are. We want to be who we are. I don't want to watch a freaking razor blade commercial and be told that I'm a fucking rapist from watching a razor blade commercial. You see what I mean? Women don't get treated this way. Gay people don't get treated this way. Why are we being treated this way? You see what I mean? It's not fair, and that's what the show is. It treats us like crap, even though we're the consumer. We're the ones that spend our money. We don't spend our money on crap like this. We don't want to be talked down to. We don't want to be told that we're worthless, that we mean nothing. Nobody wants to be talked to that way. And we definitely don't want to see it in our entertainment. You know? Not from franchises and IPs that we grew up with, that we loved. We don't want to be treated like that. We want to be treated like everyone else, with some respect. Respect your fans. Respect the people that pay you. Respect the people that love this stuff. Okay? Because we care. We're more than willing to spend our money on fucking He-Man. But not if you're going to tell us that men are all slime, that women are all super, And men are all shit. We're not going to spend our money on that. Anyway, I know it sounds emotional, and it's just, you know, I'm so sick and tired of all these things that I love as a child. All these, like Transformers and Ghostbusters, and superhero movies. So these are all stuff that I loved as a child, And when I watch something like that, like when I watch Batwoman or something like that, I know I'm the only person that watches it. But when I watch, or Legends of Tomorrow or Supergirl or something like that, or The Flash or something like that, and I see what they're doing. I see the butt of every joke is a straight white guy. That's always the bad guy, and I'm tired of it. I'm not even white, but it bothers me because people shouldn't be treated this way. You shouldn't treat anybody this way. It doesn't matter what sex you are, what gender you are, or what color you are. You need to treat people with respect. Everyone deserves respect. Everyone. Anyway, well, and this just show does not respect its audience. It does not respect the fans at all. It wasn't made for the fans. It was made to push an agenda, to push a narrative. And hopefully we're not going to get anything like this again. I mean, not with He-Man. I know we're going to get more like this again. But hopefully not with He-Man. Hopefully in another 10 years, 20 years, people forget about this shit. And, and the culture will be different, Anyway, so I'm sorry we went on a rant, but this is something I'm very passionate about. Anyway, let me know if you agree with me or not. This is Diego Knows, and thank you for watching.